Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe and vote in the poll for better hydration next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Hyrule's Daddy of Darkness, Ganondorf. With a Breath of the Wild sequel in development, the whole internet rallied to say Ganondorf was actually a good guy being possessed, but honestly, I think they just want to believe they can fix him. Classic bad boy.
Wake me up!
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to be a heartbreaker, which doesn't mean handsome. It means breaking all the hearts in the top right corner of the screen with massive damage. Second, we'll figure out how to add the triforce of power to our attacks for massiver damage. And finally, we'll figure out a way to add some evil energy to our attacks for the massivest damage. That means that our goals are damage, damage, and damage. I'm wondering if this build will be good at dealing damage. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll if you want, we just need to make sure that our charisma and strength are up to snuff. Strength is going to be number 1. Ganon swings his sword like a giant pig that can hold swords. Charisma after that, he looked thirsty in Breath of the Wild too, but he made the internet thirstier. Constitution next, Ganon is an OG multi-stage end boss, so he's gotta be hard to kill. Dexterity to follow, he's the king of thieves, he's pretty nimble. Intelligence is a little on the lower end, he really only outwits children, and will dump wisdom as you took the Triforce of Power. As far as race goes, everything in Hyrule is kinda up in the air. I'm just looking at the ears and he's got round ears, so that tells me he's a human. Variant humans can hit real hard at level 1 with the Great Weapon Master feat. This lets you make an attack as a bonus action after you land a crit or reduce someone to 0 HP. You can also deal an extra 10 damage to an attack if you take a -5 penalty to hit. Bump your strength and constitution with your 2 free points, grab religion for your skill of choice, and build your own background for deception and history proficiency. It's basically like a scumbag noble. We're going to kick things off as a barbarian. You get 2 skills from their list, athletics and intimidation are must-haves for Demon Kings. You get unarmored defense, which makes your AC 10 plus your dexterity and constitution modifier, but honestly medium armor probably suits you better. I'd go for that. You can rage while in medium armor or less. This is a bonus action that sends you into badass mode. You deal extra damage with strength-based weapons, resist bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, and have advantage on strength checks and saves. For your weapon, a greatsword is pretty great. It deals 2d6 slashing damage on a hit and gets buffed by rage. Technically, it'd be more in character if you held onto this for 8 years before you used it, but you know, use it if you want to. Second level barbarians get danger sense, giving you advantage on dexterity saves against traps or spells you can see, so a child using Din's fire isn't that huge of a threat, don't worry about him. You also get reckless attack, letting you make your attacks with advantage, but giving your enemies advantage on you next round. This is literally how you fight him in every game. He does a big attack, you circle around and poke his butt with the Master Sword. It's super in character. Keep in mind, advantage doubles your chances to crit, and you get more attacks if you crit, so get reckless, it's worth it. Third level barbarians can choose a primal path. The path of the zealot fills you with the powers of a god. Triforce acquired, folks. Divine Fury adds radiant or necrotic damage, choose necrotic, to the first attack you land each turn, equal to 1d6 plus half your barbarian level, meaning that your attacks this level are dealing 3d6 plus 16 damage with a Great Weapon Master hit, and if that kills something, you can hit again. You also get Warrior of the Gods, so when you get resurrected by a spell like Raise Dead or Revivify, the cleric doesn't need to use material components, which are pretty expensive generally, so this is a frugal resurrection. I don't know why that's not the official name, that's way cooler than Warrior of the Gods. 4th level barbarians can grab another feat and it's time to be real. Tavern Brawler is not a good feat. And Ganon doesn't punch or kick a lot outside of Super Smash Bros. But if you want the Warlock Kick or the Warlock Punch, this feat gives you +1 strength or constitution, lets you make an unarmed attack or an improvised weapon attack with proficiency that deals a minimum of 1d4 damage, and you can make a grapple attempt after using either of those. I'm just going to say that we took the ability score improvement and bumped strength. 5th level barbarians get an extra attack, letting you attack twice as an action. Some notes here, Divine Fury only applies to your first attack. You can still make another attack as a bonus action if you've killed something or crit someone with Great Weapon Master. There's also fast movement, buffing your movement speed while you're not wearing armor, but it's really better for you to just have some medium armor, so don't worry about this. Bouncing over to Warlock now, specifically a Hexblade Warlock, which teams you up with a being from Shadowfell, like Xant, for some more power. You get Hexblade's Curse, letting you call your shot with a bonus action, and pick a creature to absolutely destroy for a minute. While this is up, you deal extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus, you crit on a 19 or a 20, and you can regain HP equal to your charisma modifier and your Warlock level when you kill kill them. You're also a Hex Warrior, meaning that you can pick a one-handed weapon to use your Charisma modifier for instead of Strength or Dex, but you don't use Dex and your Strength is nuts, so don't worry about that. You can learn 2 cantrips. Eldritch Blast is a ranged spell attack that lets you shoot out 2 beams that deal 1d10 force damage. Nothing in the book says that these can be reflected by a glass bottle, so I think you're fine. Booming Blade is a little weird. It takes your action, but also lets you make a melee attack. After you hit that melee attack, this deals 2d8 thunder damage to a target if they move that round, which is good for keeping people next to you. For your first level spell, you can learn Wrathful Smite, which adds 1d6 psychic damage to your next melee attack. After it hits, the target makes a wisdom saving throw of 8 plus your charisma and your proficiency bonus, or they're frightened for a minute depending on your concentration. I'd also grab Charm Person, which charms a person that fails a wisdom saving throw for up to a minute. Somehow this nefarious dude convinces the King of Hyrule he's a nice guy, totally not here for any usurping. I think that's gotta be magical. Second level Warlocks can grab some Eldritch Invocations. Agonizing Blast lets you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blasts, and Devil's Sight gives you 120 feet of dark vision that works not only in your average everyday darkness, but advanced darkness as well. You need to be able to see the other pieces of the Triforce when they visit you in your weird cursed slumber. Third level Warlocks can get a Pact boon, so ask Zan to buy you a sword and take Pact of the Blade. This lets you choose a weapon to be your Pact weapon that you summon with an action. It counts as magical for overcoming resistances. Now, if that sword's not working for you, Shadow Blade is a second level spell that you cast as a bonus action that gives you a magical sword dealing 2d8 psychic damage, and you can still add your strength modifier to that. Keep in mind this is not a two-handed weapon, so no great weapon master hits. Fourth level Warlocks get another ability score improvement, cap your strength to deal the most damage possible. Kind of it here, but it's pretty good. Fifth level Warlocks can learn third level spells. Fly gives you a flying speed of 60 feet for a minute, so if you want, you can hover around and throw Eldritch Blast at people instead of getting really close to the sword of killing specifically you. You can also learn new invocations here, so dump one of the old ones. We're picking up 2 new ones here. Improved Pact Weapon lets you add 1 to your attack rolls and damage rolls with your Pact weapons, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your Warlock spells. Eldritch Smite lets you spend 1 of your spell slots to deal an extra 3d8 force damage when you attack with your Pact weapon. Back over to Barbarian now. 6th level Zealots get Fanatical Focus, meaning that once per rage when you fail a saving throw, you can reroll that save, because nobody is stopping Big Old Pig Monster from running over everyone. 7th level Barbarians get Feral Instinct, giving you advantage on initiative rolls, and you can ignore the effects of surprise if the first thing you do in a battle is go into a rage, which if you're rolling up a Barbarian, is probably your first move anyway. 8th level Barbarians get another ability score improvement, and Constitution is more important for most of the spells you're using than your Charisma, so I'd invest in that and fly longer and enjoy the HP bump as well. 9th level Barbarians get Brutal Critical, letting you add an additional damage die when you land a critical. Now, a Greatsword just lets you add a d6 unfortunately, because it's 2d6 instead of 1d12. But this still gets doubled with the rest of the crit. This pairs really well with Reckless Attacks and Hexblade's Curse. 10th level Zealots get Zealous Presence, letting you give up to 10 creatures of your choice advantage on attack rolls and saving throws for 1 round. You never see the 7 years of Ganondorf's rule in Ocarina of Time, but he was actually very popular to a surprising amount of the population. 11th level Barbarians get Relentless Rage, meaning the first time you hit 0 HP while you're raging, you get to roll a DC 10 Constitution save. If you pass that, you stay at 1 HP. So enter your next phase and enter it angry. 12th level Barbarians get another ability score improvement. More Constitution means you're harder to kill. Being harder to kill makes you more fun as a boss, so do that. 13th level Barbarians get another Brutal Critical. So now when you crit, that's an extra 2d6 with the Greatsword. And this still all gets doubled as well for a whole bunch of damage. 14th level Zealots get Rage Beyond Death, meaning that when you hit 0 HP, you can just stay up until you're done raging. You still make death saves, you still suffer the normal effects of taking a hit below 0 HP, but even if you fail all 3 of your dex saves, you still don't die until you end your rage below 0 HP. If this sounds obnoxious, that's because it's obnoxious. This is really obnoxious. Our capstone is 15th level of Barbarian, meaning that your rage lasts its full duration unless you choose to end it early. There's no real reason not to stay angry, so kick some Hylian booty. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how good of a build this is. First, damage. I promised damage and I think I delivered. With a curse on a target, you can deal 3d6 plus 31 on your first hit, with your next hit dealing 2d6 plus 24 for 5d6 plus 55, with double the crit chance from the Hexblade and potentially advantage from Reckless Attacks, with extra extra damage on crits, and I could have missed something. Honestly, there's just so much damage buffing. You're also really hard to kill. Like, so hard to kill that someone can fully kill you and still have to fight you for 9 turns. Finally, despite being a hit the thing until it dies character, you've got a really nice variety of damage: slashing, piercing, necrotic, thunder, force. It's pretty good coverage. For weaknesses, nobody's multi-classing barbarians with casting classes because you can't cast spells while raging. It's pretty much the biggest no-no in multi-classing. Honestly, Hexblade works pretty well with it, but you can't fly while raging or do any Eldritch Blasts. Considering up-close zealotry is your main method of damage dealing, flying in ranged foes could be kind of problematic if you already flew into a rage. Overall, Barbarian is just a class that demands to be focused on. Unarmored defense and fast movement are both totally ignored in this build, when they tend to be main draws of the class. But Ganondorf breaks the rules, then rebuilds them. Kingdom is yours, who cares what the cultural norms are? Swing your sword, break anyone who opposes you. Hopefully they just don't have any arrows that deal damage other than piercing. Thankfully, there's no way anybody has those. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 builds every week. We've been doing a lot of bad dudes lately, and we're not done. But what about the ladies with the malevolent energy? Vote in the poll for Hela, Bellatrix Lestrange, or Catwoman. And come back Thursday for a video that hopefully doesn't leave you feeling scarred.